Hey there, fellow cat lovers. Sometimes it feels like those furry enigmas curled up on our sofas are less like pets and more like, well, furry enigmas, right?
Yeah, and their journey to becoming our companions is just as mysterious as their personalities.
Oh, true.
This deep dive, we're going to explore how those aloof creatures we call cats went from solitary desert dwellers to the beloved house pets snoozing beside us today.
All right, so let's unpack this. We're going deep into the perfect history of cats, drawing from fascinating research and expert insights. And to guide us on this adventure, we have a true expert, Dr. James Serpell.
Aha, yeah.
He's an anthrozoologist from the University of Pennsylvania who has shed some incredible light on the domestication of cats.
His work it really is groundbreaking. He's challenging a lot of those long-held assumptions about, how cats entered our lives.
Okay, so to start off, did you know that the story of domestic cats actually begins not in ancient Egypt, as many believe, but thousands of years earlier
Really?
in the deserts of the Middle East?
Wow,
Yeah,
I did not know that.
specifically the area around modern-day Saudi Arabia, a region, known for domesticating other animals like camels. But but here's where things get interesting.
Okay.
Unlike dogs, which are descended from those pack-oriented wolves, wildcats, they were solitary creatures.
Ah, so that must have made their path to domestication quite a bit different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This difference is key to understanding the unique relationship that humans and cats developed. So imagine that shift from those nomadic hunter-gatherer lifestyles to those settled farming communities. That was a pivotal moment.
For both humans and cats.
Exactly. So as humans started storing grain, they unintentionally created a haven for, well, rodents.
Of course.
And suddenly cats had a reason to stick around.
Exactly. This abundance of prey in a concentrated area may have actually drawn cats toward human settlements.
Oh, interesting.
And some researchers even suggest that cats partially self-domesticated,
Really?
choosing to live near humans for their own benefit.
So it wasn't just humans taming wildcats. The cats they were kind of making a choice too.
Right.
But we're not just speculating here, are we? We actually have archaeological evidence to back this up.
We do, yeah. And some of the most compelling evidence comes from the island of Cyprus.
Oh, wow.
Dating back an astonishing 9,000 years, researchers have uncovered cat burials alongside human remains, suggesting a strong emotional bond that went beyond, simple pest control.
Whoa, 9,000 years ago.
Oh.
And those cats, I mean, they wouldn't have just wandered onto the island, right?
Right.
Someone brought them there by boat, deliberately choosing to keep them close.
It's a powerful indicator of a deeper connection forming between humans and cats. And this is, long before the pyramids were even built.
That's amazing.
But speaking of ancient Egypt,
Yes,
we can't overlook, their legendary love for cats.
absolutely. Well, the story starts earlier. Their reverence for felines, it's undeniable. The ancient Egyptians, they took this human-cat bond to a whole new level.
Yes, their fascination with cats, it was deeply intertwined with their religious beliefs.
Right.
The goddess Bastet,
Oh,
she was associated with protection, motherhood, and even pleasure. And she was often depicted with a cat's head or as a cat itself.
These were just like symbolic representations.
That's
Right?
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
They had temple catteries that were dedicated to breeding cats.
Right.
And harming a cat, I mean, that was a serious crime.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes even punishable by death.
Exactly. Cats were seen as sacred, almost divine creatures, walking embodiments of the goddess Bastet.
So cats went from solitary desert hunters to objects of veneration in just a few thousand years. Talk about a glow-up.
Yeah.
But sadly, this reverence didn't last.
You're right. The image of the cat, it took a darker turn in medieval Europe.
From divine beings to something more sinister.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Well, during this period, cats became associated with witchcraft and the occult. And this shift was likely influenced by the Catholic Church, who saw cats as this threat to their authority.
Okay.
They connected them with pagan beliefs.
Wow, that's a stark contrast to their divine status in ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder how the same animal could be seen so differently by different cultures.
It really highlights the power of cultural beliefs and how they shape our perceptions, even when it comes to something as familiar as a cat.
Wow, it's amazing how drastically perceptions of cats changed, from ancient Egypt to medieval Europe. It makes you wonder if anything about that early bond persevered through such a tumultuous shift.
Well, what's fascinating is that despite this persecution, the human-cat relationship didn't disappear.
Right.
Many people continue to value cats as companions,
Really?
even risking accusations of witchcraft to keep them close.
So it seems like that fundamental connection, the one built over thousands of years, it was too strong to be completely erased. But let's go back to that idea of self-domestication for a moment.
Okay, yeah.
What evidence actually supports this theory, and what does it tell us about cats today?
Well, one key piece of evidence lies in the genetic differences between domestic cats and their wild counterparts. Domestic cats, they show specific genetic markers that are associated with tameness and tolerance for human proximity, and these markers aren't found in their wild relatives, suggesting a deliberate selection process, whether driven by humans or by the cats themselves.
So these genetic differences, they hint that cats were adapting to life alongside humans, becoming more docile and less fearful. Does this mean that were they losing their wild instincts?
Not necessarily losing them, but certainly modifying them.
Yeah.
Consider how cats hunt.
Yeah.
They're incredibly skilled at stalking prey, even in confined spaces like a house full of furniture.
Right.
And this instinct, it's still present in our house cats, just directed at toy mice instead of actual rodents.
Yeah, that's a great example of how those wild instincts have been kind of channeled into more playful behaviors. It seems like their adaptability has been key to their success. But let's circle back to medieval Europe for a moment.
Okay.
We know cats were demonized, but how widespread was this persecution, and what were the lasting consequences?
Well, the persecution of cats during this period was sadly quite widespread. It's estimated that millions of cats were killed across Europe due to fears of their association with witchcraft.
Oh, wow.
And this had a devastating impact on cat populations and likely contributed to the spread of the Black Death, as fewer cats meant more rodents carrying the plague.
It's a tragic irony that the very animals that were demonized as bringers of misfortune might have actually helped prevent the spread of disease.
Right.
It really underscores how fear and misinformation can have unintended and devastating consequences.
Absolutely. And while the intensity of the persecution eventually waned, it's hard to say for sure what lasting impact it had on the human-cat relationship.
Right.
Did it breed a sense of mistrust, or did that innate connection endure buried beneath layers of cultural baggage?
It's a question worth pondering. This deep dive is really making me think about my own cats in a new light. Now let's revisit ancient Egypt, where cats were practically royalty.
Okay.
We touched on the goddess Bastet, but what else fueled this intense reverence?
Well, their admiration for cats, it went beyond just religious symbolism.
Okay.
On a practical level, cats were invaluable in ancient Egypt.
I see.
Their ability to control rodent populations, it protected vital grain stores,
Right.
Safeguarding the food supply.
Of course.
And this practical benefit, combined with their grace and independence, made them highly respected members of society.
So while the goddess Bastet kind of elevated their status to the divine, their everyday usefulness, it solidified their place in Egyptian hearts and homes. It seems they really had it all back then.
They did,
Yeah.
and this reverence is reflected in their art, literature, and even their burial practices.
Wow.
Cats were often depicted in paintings and sculptures, mummified and buried alongside their owners, ensuring their companionship in the afterlife.
It's incredible how deeply intertwined cats were with every aspect of their culture. Were there any specific rituals or practices surrounding cats in ancient Egypt that stand out?
Well, one striking example is the practice of shaving one's eyebrows as a sign of mourning when a pet cat died.
Really?
Yeah, this demonstrates the profound emotional bond they had with their feline companions.
Shaving their eyebrows. That shows a level of devotion we rarely see for animals even today. What else can you tell us about these ancient Egyptian cat cults?
Well, temple catteries dedicated to breeding and caring for cats were common throughout the land.
Right.
And these catteries, they played a crucial role in maintaining a healthy cat population, both for practical pest control and for their religious significance.
You know, it's incredible how cats held such a revered position in ancient Egyptian society. But let's shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
And talk about something I think all cat owners can relate to. Cat behavior.
Yeah.
You know, those quirky, sometimes baffling behaviors that make us both laugh and scratch our heads.
It's true. Cats are masters of nonverbal communication,
Yeah.
like relying on a subtle language of meows and purrs and tail twitches to convey their thoughts and feelings.
That's like they have their own secret code, and we're constantly trying to crack it.
Right.
So let's decode some of these signals.
Okay.
For example, what's the deal with cats rubbing against our legs? Is it just about getting a good scratch, or is there something more to it?
It's actually both. When a cat rubs against you, they're leaving their scent,
Okay.
a way of marking their territory and claiming you as part of their social group.
So it's a sign of affection and a subtle message of ownership all rolled into one.
Right.
What about that slow blink they sometimes do? I've always found that so endearing.
That slow blink is a powerful signal of trust and affection.
Oh.
It's a way for them to say, I feel safe and comfortable around you. It's like a feline kiss, a nonverbal expression of love.
I'm definitely going to be paying more attention to those slow blinks from now on.
Yeah.
But then there's the tail twitch.
Right.
Sometimes it's gentle, other times it's a rapid back and forth motion.
Yeah.
What does that tell us?
That's a great observation, and it highlights the importance of context when interpreting cat behavior.
Okay.
A gentle twitch that can indicate curiosity or contentment, while a rapid lashing tail, that's a clear sign of agitation or excitement.
So if the tail's going crazy, it's best to give them some space.
Exactly. Pay attention to other body language cues as well. Ears flattened, pupils dilated, body tense. These can all indicate that a cat is feeling stressed or threatened.
It's like learning a whole new language, but one that's incredibly rewarding to understand.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about individual cats, but what about their social dynamics? Are they truly solitary creatures, or is there more to their social lives than meets the eye?
It's a common misconception that cats are completely solitary.
Okay.
While they're not pack animals like dogs, they do form social bonds,
Really?
and especially when living in close proximity.
Okay.
Feral cat colonies, for instance,
Right.
they often have complex social structures with hierarchies and alliances.
So even those seemingly independent alley cats, they have their own social circles and rules of engagement.
Precisely, and we see echoes of this social behavior in our own homes.
Oh, interesting.
Multi-cat households, they often develop their own dynamics, with cats establishing dominance, sharing resources, and even engaging in playful interactions.
It's fascinating to think about the subtle ways they communicate and negotiate their relationships with each other.
Yeah.
This deep dive has really opened my eyes to the hidden world of cat behavior.
I'm glad to hear it.
But before we wrap up, I'm curious about your thoughts on the future of the human-cat relationship.
Okay.
Where do we go from here?
Well, I believe the future of this ancient bond is filled with possibilities.
I hope so.
As we continue to learn more about feline behavior and cognition, we can create richer, more fulfilling lives for our cats.
And in a world that's becoming increasingly urbanized, cats are uniquely suited to apartment living.
Right.
They offer companionship without needing a lot of space.
Absolutely. They're the perfect companions for our modern lifestyle.
Yeah.
And with advancements in veterinary care, cats are living longer, healthier lives, giving us more time to enjoy their purrs and their unique personalities.
It's heartwarming to think that this ancient relationship continues to evolve and thrive.
It is.
So as we reach the end of our deep dive, what are some key takeaways for our listeners, the devoted cat lovers out there?
I think the most important message is to approach our cats with curiosity,
Okay.
respect, and a willingness to learn.
Yeah.
They're complex beings with their own unique ways of perceiving the world.
Absolutely.
By listening to their subtle signals, understanding their needs, and appreciating their individuality, we can deepen our connection with them.
It's a bond worth cherishing.
It is.
And who knows what amazing discoveries await us as we continue to unravel the mysteries of the feline world.
Exactly.
That's it for a deep dive into the perfect history and captivating behavior of cats.
Yep.
We hope you've enjoyed the journey as much as we have.
I have.
And until next time, may your days be filled with head boops, slow blinks, and the gentle rumble of purrs.
Absolutely.